I guess I'm one of those people who decorates their garden for Halloween now, because that is exactly what I have done. For some reason, I wasn't actually even gonna do this, but when I realized that I needed these shade cloths to help my seeds germinate, and I looked at everything and how creepy it already looked with all the black, I said, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I kind of want to give y'all like a little update on how my garden is doing, show y'all what's sprouting, yada yada, boom boom bing. The first thing I want to address is this setup that I have going here. So all of my seeds, and I'm pretty sure some of y'all know this, maybe some of you don't, but in order to get them to germinate, I would need the soil temperature to be somewhere between like 60 to 70 degrees. And I planted everything on October 8th. So it was still pretty much the high 80s. And so what I did was I got these little mini hoops from Amazon, and I got a shade cloth, and I went ahead and covered all of my beds, and I put some mulch down to kind of keep the soil cool. I was coming in probably 3 times a day and just misting the soil to make sure that it stayed cool in here. So I feel like the combination of having the mulch and having the shade cloth and then misting that and kind of creating this, you know, cool microclimate inside of my beds definitely helped my seeds come up, because before I did that, like me just touching the soil, it was so hot. This bed here is all bok choy because I love bok choy. This was actually the first to come up, which really surprised me. When they get a little bit bigger, I'm actually going to thin these out and only keep the one that is the strongest. But yeah, that's looking good so far. Coming over to this bed, a row of spinach, a row of butterhead lettuce, and then a third row that kind of alternates between the two. So I have like spinach, butterhead lettuce, spinach, butterhead lettuce, so on and so forth. This row of spinach along this right side came up like immediately. And man, crazy enough, something is already eating the butterhead lettuce. My goodness. Well, it's okay. we got it coming up, so that's the main thing. Definitely gonna have to use some insect netting though. I see I have it, but dang, I didn't think I'd need it this soon. If you watched my soil conditioner video, you know that I conditioned my soil and then I covered it with mulch to protect everything that I had put in the soil, all the amendments, make sure it gelled together. I didn't want to take all of this mulch out of the bed because that was just going to take too much effort. So I kind of made these trenches, I guess you would say. So my strategy basically is to wait until my plants get to maybe like 6 inches tall or just a little bit taller. And then I'm going to just scoop this mulch over again, like near the root zone of the soil, just to help retain moisture a little bit more. And then over here, I started collard greens and I started broccoli indoors. And so I have finally transplanted them outside. And it's a good thing I did, y'all, because they, you see how pale this leaf is right now? It's not supposed to look like that. This purple kind of like palish color on this leaf, I actually had phosphorus deficiency on my brassicas. So like my broccoli and my collard greens. And for the longest time, y'all, I was so puzzled by this because the fertilizer that I use has more phosphorus in it than anything. So I'm like, I'm giving these plants phosphorus. Why are they deficient in phosphorus? And I just kind of thought about it and I said, you know what? I understand what's going wrong here. If I'm giving it phosphorus, the only other logical issue that's happening here is that something is keeping it from taking up the phosphorus. And so if we go over here, y'all, these are pretty much all the brassicas that I started indoors. So This is the collard greens that I have left that I still need to get into the ground or into a grow bag. And as you can see, even some of them here still have this kind of like purplish tone. But the reason it was like that, y'all, is because they are actually competing for resources. Like, I can't show you now, but the roots are circling in these little nursery pots. And so the only logical conclusion I came up with is, yeah, they're competing for the phosphorus. I could be wrong, who knows? But I can say that now that I've put them out into the garden, the purple is starting to go away. But that's just my theory. I only have 2 collard green plants in this bed because, I mean, that's the only space that I have to really let them grow and sprawl out. The other one down there is doing a whole lot better. The only difference I would say between the collard greens going into the ground or the beds and the broccoli going into the beds is that the broccoli seems to have recovered from that phosphorus deficiency way faster than the collard greens. Now I mean, I don't see any signs of that. I want to say it was probably this leaf here. It had some of that purple that I showed you guys, like the same thing that I saw on the collard greens, and it's just gone now. Like, the fact that it just went away is so crazy. But yeah, in this bed, I've pretty much planted all of my broccoli, and some of them are growing super fast. Like this one over here. It's kind of crazy because as soon as I planted this broccoli, it just took off. Like all of the purple went away. These leaves started getting bigger. So yeah, I'm just excited. So my next step next week is to plant a row of herbs going down here when it gets just a little bit cooler. I'm gonna do cilantro, dill, and parsley. And then finally, last but not least, let's address the elephant in the room. The brandywine tomatoes that have not tomatoed. I think this is probably gonna be my first and last experience with trying to grow heirloom tomatoes. Number one, they just take too long. And the way Texas's heat is set up and this not really liking the weather to be above 85 degrees, I mean, I really did not have, I really did not have many chances to see this fruit because it needs dang near 100 days. And when I planted this in April, I didn't get the chance because it immediately just turned super hot when we went into summer. So now that we're in fall, things are cooling off and going below 80. So I'm wondering, am I gonna get any fruit off of this tomato plant now? One thing that I will say, I've been doing a decent job of pruning it. I do still have some brown leaves here and there. I try to come like every week or so and prune things out. But one thing I will say, y'all, the green new growth is still coming in. So I don't know if that means there's still hope, but I have definitely kept these going just in case they decide they want to do something. And as you can see, there are flower buds. There are flower buds for them to open up and be pollinated, but my goodness, I just don't know what's gonna happen. So stay tuned for that, y'all. The curious case of the tomato that could tomato or just be tall. And I don't know, here, give me some fruit. Give me some fruit. So now at this point, the only thing I have left to do is plant in this bed. This is gonna be all beets, Detroit dark red beets. So that's the only thing I'm putting in this bed. And then I'm also gonna do some radishes. I'm gonna get like a big grow bag and put that probably like right here somewhere and plant the radishes. And then that's it, y'all. That's all I have left to do. All right, y'all, so that's pretty much all I wanted to show you. Just a quick little garden update since I've been gone for so long, but I'm gonna be coming back and showing y'all my progress with my broccoli, my spinach, my bok choy, the curious case of the tomatoes that could tomato or not tomato, the beets, the herbs. So I got a lot of stuff in production, so we will see how it goes. And until next time, happy gardening.